If you have something prepared to read, let's start with that.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
The fire company was organized in 1938, and the lawn party was started just about the same time. The first lawn party was held at the corner of Main Street and Dingle Avenue, where El Charro's is now, and that bandstand was there on the corner, and the women served food out from underneath, and they had the activities up on top of the bandstand. I joined the fire company in 1962, and we cooked hams in the black kettles behind the firehouse. That year we cooked 7 country hams. After we cooked the hams, we would take the hams to Shorty Wine, Merrimack store on Main Street, and we'd bone the hams. That year we grossed about $7,000, and that was a good year. And we would go out in the country and ask people for country hams and chickens and all kinds of vegetables for the lawn party. And once in a while, coming out the lane, there would be a chicken that would hop in the truck on the way out. The first year we cooked 7 hams. The most.
He's hearing music. It's a radio on?
Yeah, back here.
Might have to turn that on.
Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. Sorry.
Maybe that picture there with Cleet, it tells us when the auxiliary started. She's got some early stuff there.
And we are still rolling.
Ready to go again?
Yeah.
All right. The first year that I was in the lawn party, in the fire company, we cooked 7 country hams, and the most we ever cooked was 502. And we would cook those up at Shinmar Food. Then the guys would come up on Saturday morning, and we would bone all the hams. There were times that we actually ran out of hams on Friday, and we would go back to get more hams on Friday night and cook them all night long. The price of a country ham sandwich back then was 50 cents. And that's about what I got.
Were you the originator of the lawn party? Or did it come from, how did that start?
Well, it started just to raise money for the lawn party.
For the fire company.
Yeah.
For operating expenses, it was just their way of getting the community together to support the fire company to have money to operate on a yearly basis. And that's basically what it still is today. It's a community event that it's our main fundraiser for the year.
And how did you guys sort of come together to make this happen? That's what the history of it, like how did it come together that first year? Like what was let's have a lawn party. Was there a moment of like, did you have any idea that would come to what it is today? I mean,
No.
I don't think it ever would. I don't think anybody would imagine back when it started it would be as big as what it is now. I mean, with the.
I'm going to move this just a second because I can't see everyone. I see how this.
You don't need to see it.
We'll get a shot of this in just a minute.
Okay.
Move this here.
Good picture of Cleta there.
Mm-hmm, it is.
In fact, let me have that mic. I'm just going to send them a picture.
Sure.
Make that work.
No, it's warm now.
I'm so sorry.
Your belly warmed it up, didn't
Yeah.
Thank you. You just got that down. Well, I'm just going to sit this right here. And I'm going to ask some questions about the lawn party. And we'll take it from there. Okay? Does anybody remember how it first started? The lawn party, the concept became, let's do this, let's make this happen. How did that happen originally? The concept of having the lawn party.
Well, that was just about the only way that we had to raise money because we didn't send out letters at that time for contributions, and that we used that money just to operate on for the year.
And that first year, what was the feedback like? Like, was there a big crowd the first year, or how did it?
I don't remember that.
I remember going there as a young child with my parents. They had pony rides and everything else, and what was there then is what you see today at a lot of these church lawn parties and so forth. It was virtually a lawn party.
That's all the bigger it was.
That's all the bigger it was. It was no different than these church socials or whatever they want to call them today. And it's evolved like that over the years.
And how has it changed over the years? Like, could you elaborate on that? Like, how has the lawn party grown?
Well, it started growing when we added the steam gas.
Steam and
You
gas.
started the antique car show in '62, and then the gas tractors and the steam engines and the gas engines, they come in with '69, wasn't it, Pidge?
Yeah,
So
69.
it's kind of evolved over the years, and it's just gotten to be one of the biggest. It's one of the bigger, better shows in the valley. I mean, there's no other fire company that puts on a 4-day show like we do. I mean, there's others been tried, but it's just an outstanding community support for this group and what we do, and it's just kind of like I've just kind of been the caretaker, kind of take care of it from '93 to or when I got in till now. It's just been my job just to carry it on and kind of keep things at an even keel, but it just seems like it gets bigger every year, and it goes from a good solid foundation that was started back in the 40s from these guys starting it to now, and somebody taking care of it and running it and making sure it goes the right way. So that's all we try to do is just try to maintain every year and keep things on an even playing field. And
Would
keep
you say
everybody
it's
happy.
a year-round? How long does it take to plan this and get it off the ground?
I started making phone calls January the 2nd. So it takes me, I've got everything in a book, and I start usually about the 1st of January, start making phone calls and lining up bands and lining up this and lining up everything till 1st of July, and then just hope everything shows up and everybody shows up to help. So.
How
But
has it changed over the years, the lawn party? How has it evolved?
Well, the fire company used to take care of everything, but now we have different clubs, roofing clubs, and all like that. That it'd be impossible for us to do it if they didn't help. They help in the bingo and the parking.
Are there any stories that stick out in your mind? You went over a few of them. Sort of, any stories about the early days of the lawn party that really sort of stick out in your mind? If you could repeat that, once you said something about the chickens.
Okay, we would go around to different people's houses in the country, and they would give us country hams, green beans, all kinds of vegetables for the lawn party. And then on the way out the lane, one of them chickens would hop in the truck, so we'd have an extra chicken.
And how has the lawn party benefited the fire department over the years? Like, how is it just the main fundraiser?
Well, 2 days.
It's
Okay,
been
well, that's getting
pretty
pretty
much
much my
the
time. So main
Yeah.
fundraiser. It's been, as far as I can remember, it was 3 days when I
I
started.
mean, you just was running around when I
At
was.
first
a
it was
guy.
3 days. I think it was Thursday, Friday,
It went to
Saturday.
4
It
days.
wasn't, at first it
It
wasn't,
is our main fundraiser for the year, so it pretty much takes care of our operating expenses for the year. As you can imagine, with a fire company with 2 engines, a ladder truck, and a tanker, and several squad cars, it takes a pretty good lick to keep everything running. So
when the expenses here a couple of years ago, like about $48,000.
on a couple, on some of the equipment we had broke down,
Yeah.
it gets expensive to keep the equipment running. So that's where a lot of this money goes to. And then with the training and the equipment you got to buy and everything, we just make do with what we got. So
And how does it compare to the other lawn parties in the region? And was this one of the first lawn parties in the region here? Or I'm just trying to get sort of the.
Well, probably Hose Company number 4 had the first one. They had them in there on Main Street in Harrisonburg. But,
It's sort of like a county fair almost, is it
oh, yeah,
not?
right.
And it seems like it's almost taken the place of a county fair
The only
in
thing
a lot
about
of
it,
places.
the only thing about it, we don't charge for anybody to get in.
it's all free.
All
I
free.
mean, we don't. That's one thing about it. You can come to the lawn party. You can ride a shuttle bus from TA down to the gate. We'll let you out. You get out and do your thing. Get back on the bus. Go back to your car. I mean, we don't charge to park. We don't charge to get in. Whatever you do is up to you. So that's one good thing that we've tried to stay away from is charging for people to get in, and we find that it really works good for the community, and you get a lot of feedback. Back here, was it several years ago when gas went up and people was, not going on vacations and stuff, they said they was saving their money. They bring their kids to the lawn party because they knew they could go there and afford to do something. They could bring their kids there a couple nights out of the week, let them ride all night, and that was going to be their vacation because they couldn't afford to go anywhere. So, because we kept things affordable for people to do. So I think that's probably one of my fondest memories of somebody telling me why they enjoyed the lawn parties, because it's always affordable. It's hometown. You see people there that you don't see every year. It's like a family reunion or a school reunion. So I think that's kind of what is the driving force behind the lawn party.
A lot of these-
Some of the first guys to start the lawn party was Henry Gordon, Bud Kibler, Shorty Wine. Anybody else bid?
What year was that?
1938.
Could you say for me the lawn party started in 1938 and it was started by such and such and such and such? If you wouldn't mind saying that on camera for me, so that's a green light.
Yeah, the fire company was organized in 1938, and that first year was when we had the lawn party. And those guys that started the lawn party was Henry Gordon, Shorty Wine, Bud Kibler, and there were others which I can't think of right now.
How has it changed over the years as far as technology goes?
Oh my!
I can't imagine. It's gotta be outrageous.
Yeah, when I got in the fire company, we had 2 fire codes, and we had they were size 50. That was bought for Griff Gilbertson, and the other coats was those old rubber coats, and Bakelite helmets with no liners in them, and a pair of boots and a coat was all you had.
Wow.
And the rubber jackets were pretty dangerous, because if you were in a hot fire or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
those rubber jackets would actually melt right into you or onto you. They were very dangerous to be wearing, but there was nothing else around. are available.
What has been the feedback from the community over the years as far as the lawn party, the Bridgewater Lawn Party has concerned? What has the feedback from the community been?
Well, it's a destination for a lot of people. A lot of the people that grew up here in Bridgewater make it a point to come back here every year. And, you know, some of them, you know, will be setting up close to a stand or whatever in a lawn chair, just watching for friends and so forth to come up and that type thing. But people come in from all surrounding states and everything with their different
Yeah.
steam and gas engines.
You always meet a lot of people down there from Bridgewater, don't you, Pidge?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of high school reunions centered around the lawn party. They all have their Bridgewater High School reunion, and different classes will meet at the lawn party and maybe meet after the lawn party. I think something else as far as the community, it's pretty obvious the community is supporting us by the number of people that attend the lawn party. It just keeps growing. And in 1962, they started the car show. That they started with another company, another outfit, I think, and then after a while, Bridgewater took it over, and Bridgewater takes care of it now, the car show. In '69, the steam and gas started, and that started with one steam engine, one farm tractor, and one gas engine. I started helping with it in 1970 along with 4, 5, 6 other guys. And over the years, it just grows and grows. And as far as running the steam and gas end of it, people know what's expected of them when they come. I mean, there are very, very few problems. They know what we expect, and it's really not much of a problem to run after when it starts. It kind of takes care of itself.
Would you say, is there a year or an era where the lawn party really just sort of, like when you guys said to yourselves, this is really something to behold. This is, never thought it would be this popular or successful. Was there an era or just something where it really just sort of took off? Could you?
Well, I don't know if it actually took off. I guess you could say that it took off, but it's gradually grown. But this is strictly my opinion. I think in the last, these guys, you can ask them, but I think in the last 4 or 5 years, so far as steam and gas is concerned, it's kind of leveled off so far as attendance and equipment. Now, we have around 200 and some tractors on the grounds during the tractor pull, and we pull around 130, 40, and that's pretty consistent. And most of the time, same guys return. There's no problems with it. Like I said before, they know what's expected, and we don't have any problems, any run-ins or anything. It kind of runs itself.
For instance, I haven't been to the Bridgewater Lawn Party, unfortunately. What would you tell people that haven't been there? What sort of things can they expect? And you touched on that just now a lot. But if people that haven't been to the Bridgewater Lawn Party, what can they expect when they get there?
Well, it was touched on a while ago. Free entry.
Good food.
Yes, and it was when I was on the board years ago. The subject of charging admission came up, and I don't remember all the guys who was on the board, but that was squelched pretty quick because, like was said before, you bring a family of 6 or 7 people.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fire companies around that do lawn parties, more like the country style lawn party that Rodney was talking about earlier at the church.
Ham
kind of lawn
sandwiches,
parties.
chicken, games, what have you.
Our lawn party,
It's just paid off to.
you know, it's centered
I think.
The lawn party runs with the steam and gas meet, and the steam and gas meet runs with the lawn party. I don't know how well it would ever go right now if you tried to split them up. It all kind of works hand in hand. It brings one group of folks in and brings another group of folks in. So it kind of meshes everybody together in the community. Everybody likes farm equipment. Everybody likes old machinery. Everybody wants to come out and support the fire company.
Everybody wants to eat.
Everybody wants to eat. But getting back to what you were saying about different things about the fire company, or the different things going on, each night we kind of have a theme. Like on Wednesday night is family night and veterans night. VFW here in Bridgewater, they take care of the veterans. They'll give them a meal, a free meal. And that's worked out real good. Family night is kids ride half price all night on Wednesday and Thursday night. Thursday we have the antique tractor pull. That's our big thing. We start that at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It runs till probably 7, 8 o'clock at night. And then Friday night we have our big fireman's parade. It's probably one of the biggest ones in the valley. And then Saturday night we have the antique car and tractor parade, which I think last year we had 150 antique cars and almost 150 or 200 tractors in that parade. So there's something different. There's something going on up there every night. We have live music every night, a different band every night. And like I say, it's all free. It don't cost, the only thing it's going to cost you is what you come there and spend to eat or enjoy yourself. So it's no upfront cost to anybody.
And those are the funds that help the fire department with
Yes, sir.
food
Yes, sir.
and drinks and refreshments.
And one thing you can always count on, it's always very hot. And I mean very hot.
When does it take place? And I apologize for, when does the lawn party usually take place?
July the 18th through the 21st this year. It's always the third Saturday.
Third weekend, yeah.
Third Saturday in July. It's always on that third Saturday. Don't matter how the year comes in or how the month comes in. It's always on the third Saturday. But this year it's the 18th to the 21st of July.
And how did you get involved with it? Like, I guess you guys are all part of the fire departments, and sort of it just came down to like, so that makes sense to me. Okay, I understand. It's all coming together now.
When you belong to the fire company, you're expected to be there, especially for the lawn party.
Could you say that one more time?
When you belong to the fire company, one of the expectations is to be there for the lawn party. Primary is to protect the citizens, is our reason for being there. Citizen protection, fire prevention. But it's our fundraiser, like everybody's saying. And once again, I'd just like to mention the community support. It's just amazing how much support we have. Come in on Wednesday or Tuesday morning and so forth, the FireHouse. That's where they assemble and it's literally an assembly line, the ham sandwiches. Line after line of tables is lined up, mostly women, but some men coming in, and all day long for 2 or 3 days, that's what they do, is make ham sandwiches. And it's quite an operation to see. So it's a lot of going on behind the scenes. Charlie was talking a while ago and so forth, making it look easy. It looks easy from the spectator's perspective, but behind the scenes, there's a whole lot of work that's been put into it and so forth to pull it off.
And how did you get involved with the fire department? Like, what year did you start?
I joined in 1965. I worked with them when I was 16. You had to be 18 to join when I became a member. I started helping the fire company, lawn parties and that type, marching in parades and so forth at 16. I think they referred to that as a junior member. We couldn't fight fires. But that's when I started in 65. So it's been changes. I don't run calls anymore. I haven't for a long time. It's got to the point now I wouldn't hardly know what to do when I got to a fire. You know, it just changed so drastically, the procedures and so forth.
What was it about the fire department that made you want to be a part of it all these years?
Well, at that time there wasn't a whole lot of other activities in Bridgewater. I've lived here all my life, and that's a lot of the men, the majority of men probably here in town were fire company members. Almost, I don't know what the percentage would be, but it was a large number was in the fire company here.
We had Well, it had a siren down on the water tank, and we would blow it at 12 o'clock, and if it was a county fire, it blow it 4 times, and if it was in town, it would blow 6 times, and everybody would just run to the fire hydrant, get on the truck and take off.
I can't imagine how the science of fighting fires has changed over the years.
Yeah, for instance, we used to ride on the back of the fire truck, but you can't do that no more. And
I rode on the back of a fire truck once as a child.
there was a horn button up on the side. If somebody fell off, you blow the horn.
And they'd stop long enough to get back on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like, and is it like that for small towns across Virginia or the Shenandoah Valley, like the fire department? Because I spoke with people in above Port Republic. There, what is that town called?
Gaggisville, Grottos.
Grottos, the Grottos Fire Department. It seems like they have a lawn party too that's pretty popular.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it just seems like the idea of the lawn party coming together with the fire department seems to like really bond that community. Is that something that you guys agree with?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
that's a very true statement. I think, like I say, the people here in Bridgewater and the surrounding area, they just kind of go out of their way to support the lawn party. I mean, everybody likes it, and like I say, it's just been my job to maintain it over the last 20-some years. But I'm sure it'll continue to go on and stay to the level where it's at. I don't see things changing a whole lot. If something ain't broke, you don't try to fix it. So, we're still working at a pretty good pace, and everything's going good, and hopefully it'll maintain for a long time.
Wonderful. I think I'm good. Is there anything else anybody would like to add? I see a bunch of pictures here.
Yeah, this was an article on our Ladies Auxiliary. According to the article there from Cleta Ritchie, they started helping in 1940. They met in Mrs. Click's basement in 1940. So that's kind of when our Ladies Auxiliary got started with them. And this is just some pictures of
Current, which is a town
some of
paper,
our early
June of
steam and gas.
1980.
Can I
And
get some
just
pictures
one
with my
thing here I
phone,
wanted
please?
to read about the hams. We've talked about them quite a bit because that is a big money-making process for us. And I'll read this. William Heisey, president of the fire department, reports that 400 20-pound hams have been purchased to provide these famous ham sandwiches for the lawn party. Also, 6,400 pieces of chicken will be prepared, as well as 700 pounds of hot dogs and between 1,200 and 1,500 pounds of ground beef. Soft drinks, lemonade, and milk will be on hand to round out the 3 days of festivities and celebration. Dates July 17, 18, and 19. Keep in mind this is June of 1980. And then it looks like he might have broke from the tradition of Colonel Sanders on the recipe for his chicken, but he's got a recipe in here, how to cook a lawn party ham. Cut hock end off, wash thoroughly, skim over lightly, if needed with a sharp knife. Boil at a moderate level in a large pot with lots of water from 5 to 6 hours. Remove, debone while hot, wrap in white cotton cloth or muslin. Chill thoroughly, trim and slice. One 20-pound ham makes about 42 sandwiches. And he also has a note, the lawn party began somewhere around 1939, and I think we agreed on it's probably 1938. And this is 1980. This is the 9th year of the steam and gas meet. All kinds and sizes of engines will be on the exhibit. The lawn party is held traditionally at night. However, the food stands will be open during the day. Friday night will be the fireman's parade, and Saturday will feature the antique car parade and show. I just thought that was interesting.
That is interesting.
1980.
So it sounds like, and I'm going to ask this again. Make sure I have it. Like the ham sandwiches themselves sort of have a life of their own when it comes to the lawn party. It's sort of,
They do.
it almost sounds like, and if you wouldn't want to elaborate on this, the ham sandwiches themselves, you know, sort of symbolize, you know, what good can come from the lawn party, and it seems like that's where they make a lot of their money. How important, I want to ask this, how important are the ham sandwiches to the lawn party?
Well, when it first started, we had Cokes for our drink, and it was in glass bottles, and there was broken glass all over the ground. It's a wonder somebody didn't get hurt. But then we changed to aluminum cans.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that's one of my first memories of the lawn party was when I was old enough. Me and a bunch of my buddies, we go around picking up pop bottles, put them in the cases, and the drink stand they give you a quarter. So 4 or 5 of us boys running around picking up pop bottles all night. Well, by the time we got done, we'd go get us 3 or 4 orders of French fries. Me and Jeff Barger and Bart Kramer and some of them, we'd sit around and eat French fries half the night and pick up bottles half the night just to have something to do. But you know, my dad was a life member, and you know, it was just something. I was there anyway, so I had to be doing something. So it just kind of instilled into you being a volunteer and helping out with the fire company and everything. And you know, I think it's a lot of history with the fire companies, whether it's Bridgewater, Grottoes, whoever, with these lawn parties and these older folks that have done this and have made it to what it is. The younger ones need to stop and listen and remember what it was back in the 40s and 50s when they got started as to where you're at now. Because if it wouldn't be for these guys doing what they did, we wouldn't have what we got today. So that's kind of where I come from, is just trying to maintain and keep an even keel and keep things moving forward for the community and for the fire company. That's how I look at it.
The food has always been a very big draw, and if you don't believe that, just walk in the lawn party some night around 5 or
Just
6.
1 second, I hear that, Chuck.
Okay.
You know, the guy on the bread truck told me that they sold as much bread down there as what they did at the Rockingham County Fair.
Oh, I know.
I heard more.
Yeah. Now I've lost my train of thought
Food.
on food. Food is a very big item at all the area lawn parties. If you don't think that's a fact, just come in one evening around 5 or 6 o'clock. See how long the lines are for the chicken stand. And chicken stand is a big seller now at lawn parties. Ham sandwiches and so forth. People really come to a lawn party looking for chicken and ham sandwiches. And a lot of the different fire companies, organizations around, when they have their different lawn parties and stuff, even churches and so forth, they'll advertise their famous, whatever their church or civic organization is, our famous chicken or our famous ham sandwiches or whatever. So it's always been a big draw, is the food, and especially the ham and the chicken.
I think I'm good. Can we go around the table and get everybody's name?
My name is Larry Smallwood,
Wonderful. And you were involved with the lawn party from what year?
1962. It was when I joined.
Wonderful. And you, sir?
I'm Charlie Cron, and I joined in 1993.
I'm Rodney Hildebrand. I joined in 1965.
I'm Carl Rhodes, and I joined in 1958.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you all so much.
Thank you for the